the producers also said they would like her mother to show her how to cook something, and she apparently screamed and shouted and would not have it. They said, well, can she do something with you? Cook something, you can do something together. Absolutely not. She was absolutely furious. And someone told me that actually what the problem is that she didn't want her mother to speak because she's told so many lies. Her mother won't agree with them and she will correct her. So she couldn't risk it.
Why has Meghan Markle's best friend disappeared all of a sudden? The man who set her up with Prince Harry has become the latest to be ghosted, as insiders reveal to the Mail that Meghan has reshuffled her inner circle amid the struggles of her flop Netflix show. So let me take you through this reporting from Alison Boshoff, who writes, whatever happened to Meghan's best friend, Markus Anderson? The tall, handsome Canadian was a third wheel in the early days of her romance with Prince Harry, and he was front and centre at their 2018 wedding. However, he was nowhere to be seen in the first series of With Love, and I understand that he won't be appearing in the second series either. A friend of Anderson has conceded that his bond with Meghan may not be quite as tight as it once was. Now, apparently, he claims that's because of his role at Soho House, but that makes no sense, given that Meghan always loved her time there. It seems that he is actually very unhappy with the way that Meghan is trying to drag all of her friends and loved ones into the show. The reporting of this friend of Markus Anderson says he just really is not comfortable in the spotlight. It is not his thing. And Angela Levin, Prince Harry and Queen Camilla's biographer, our Royal Mastermind, Angela Levin, this is very interesting because, of course, Meghan has a long track record of ghosting friends, but you have also been looking into this idea that even Doria, her own mother, didn't like particularly being dragged into With Love, Meghan. So let's deal with both of those issues.
Right. So I think with Anderson, it's just very, very uncomfortable for him, isn't it? I mean, he must feel very sad, but he's obviously stepped back because of the things that she's been doing. I mean, the last thing she wrote to him, I wouldn't for her, what I could do without you, my lovely, supporting, and endlessly fun friend. I know what, I would be bored and life would be infinitely less interesting. I love you so much, with the so in capital letters. But we know with Meghan that she's not one to sort of stay what she feels like about people. And he's dropped, or she's dropped, or they've just disparted. But it's very unusual because he was there so much for her. But I think now she's getting more and more confident that she can do everything on her own. That's why she doesn't want people who are running any of the things she's doing. Has to be her. But partly for her mother, it's absolutely fascinating that the people who are running this thing she's doing said to her that they would like her mother to be there too. And she said, no, absolutely not. But they made a big fuss. So she said, all right. Well, I noticed and others noticed that her mother didn't look happy being there. She did come, but she did look a bit fed up and cross. But nonetheless, the producers also said they would like her mother to show her how to cook something. And she apparently screamed and shouted and would not have it. They said, well, can she do something with you? Cook something, you can do something together. Absolutely not. She was absolutely furious. And someone told me that actually what the problem is that she didn't want her mother to speak because she's told so many lies. Her mother won't agree with them and she will correct her. So she couldn't risk it. Have you ever heard of anything so terrible?
Wow, that's fascinating, isn't it? And there is, I mean, look, the thing with Meghan and ghosting people now, look, obviously she hasn't ghosted her mother. She needs her mother there. But I mean, Markus Anderson joins a long list of best friends who have just been thrown under the bus. Of course, the most shocking example was the case of Jessica Mulrooney, who the moment she got into a bit of trouble, and I think it really was an unfair witch hunt against Jessica Mulrooney, Meghan just said, see you later. Bye-bye. And I mean, these two were so close, Angela, through everything. And even there at the wedding, her children were part of the wedding party. So it doesn't surprise me that Markus Anderson is gone, because this is just what Meghan does. Like, once people outgrow their usefulness, they
Yes,
are
I think so.
gone.
That's it, isn't it? They've outgrown their usefulness. That's it, time and time again. And she's actually got her concentration on something else. But none of these come off. She wants to do something. I mean, but she doesn't ever get around to do it properly. It doesn't work somehow because she's in such a rush to do it all, like getting everything ready without having the jams and the teas actually ready for sale. If you want to do something like that, you make sure before you even get going that everything's there, that people can buy them as soon as possible, because they think, oh, that looks lovely, and try and get it. But no, with Meghan, she's rushing before she can walk.
The relationship with Doria, though, is particularly interesting, isn't it, Angela? Because even though Meghan has stayed incredibly steadfast and loyal towards her mother, the total opposite in terms of the way that she has treated her father, Thomas Markle, they were not always close, because in her teenage years, Thomas was the sole caregiver. Doria
Yes.
wasn't there.
There's a good few stories about why she wasn't there, but we do know that she wasn't around for several years. And Meghan had to be looked after by her father. And at that time, they got very close. They really enjoyed it. And he was very caring for her, and took her into where he had his shows and the lighting. And it was all fine. But then I think that she has loved her mother, and she probably still does, but she doesn't want her, like anybody else, stepping on her path. She doesn't want that. She wants to be there by herself, so everybody can look at her and say how wonderful she is. But I'm wondering whether she lets her mother look after the two children. If they are there for her, does she let them do that? In which case, she needs to keep the relationship in good order. But none of us are sure about that. It's a big question mark.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. But look, Markus Anderson, I think, has probably just realized, actually, this is all a sideshow. She's taken everything she possibly can take from me now. They did see each other at that baby shower a few months ago, but that was the first time they had been pictured together in years, actually, in years. But as I say, none of this is a surprise to me, because Meghan goes through friends very, very quickly. She doesn't stay loyal to people. And if she thinks she doesn't need you anymore, or perhaps more importantly, Angela, if you've said something to her which she has taken the wrong way, that she has taken as criticism or not entire steadfast support, then you're also gone. But look at the Beckhams, for example. They were gone because of a lie, because she believed incorrectly that they were leaking stories. So sometimes people get booted for something that isn't even their fault at all.
Yes. Remember when her mother arrived to the wedding, and she said something, and Meghan gave her the most terrible look, because she obviously said something she didn't like. And I thought, my goodness, she's arrived for her wedding. It must be so exciting. You didn't think you would actually see someone's face absolutely turn horrid. And she's done that a few times. She doesn't expect her mother to speak when she comes, when she's a friend there, because she looks at her absolutely very crossly. The thing is interesting with Harry, that he didn't mind that she had this best friend, and he sort of stood there. If he was doing, say, like Invictus Games, the first one that he did, but she was there, he had a lot to do. He was running around, so he was very, very pleased that, and Meghan had company there because he didn't want her to be sitting on his own, very nicely, but he was very generous like that, because he just thought that, he looked after her. But now he's jolly well not going to look after her. And very, that's it.
But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some can even be harmful to your skin. Recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? Well, so he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He describes it as like Photoshop for your face, and he says you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase wrinkles from view. Now, over time, his personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. So in light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public. It is free, it is uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he says that if it helps even one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing that he helped. The video, not surprisingly, has gone viral. It started on Facebook. Now it's had over 2 million views. Incredible. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer even commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken, or you can just click on the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. But there is one thing Dr. Lake asks from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones, because together we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. Go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or you can just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show. Indeed it is. Now, Angela, I want to share with you a post on X by Canal Citadel, and every now and then she just writes something which is so brilliant. I really want to share it because her take on what has been going on over the past few weeks with the Sussexes is absolutely fascinating. So let me take you through this. And she writes, when a narcissist is exposed publicly and is unable to lie to hide the truth, they start playing victims to distract from their shame. Meghan has failed again, very loudly and very proudly. Her cooking show is an epic laughing stock. All of the press reviews were a carnage. Official ratings were abysmal. The viewing ratings were a complete joke, with only 526,000 households in the US watching in a week after 3 months of PR, and only 12.6 million hours of viewership recorded. Now Netflix realizes they have to do some major damage control to address her abysmal reputation. I guess they have finally realized being known as a lousy phony, a plagiarizer, and a compulsive liar is conducive to failure. Therefore, to remedy that, they proudly decided to, drumroll, portray Meghan as a victim of unwarranted hate, racism, and check notes through laughing tears, the industry. Meg sent her favourite Photoshop photographer, Miss Anne Goofy Man, to cry that she is a victim of misogyny in the industry. Then her anti-brain cells fans found a way to blame racism and Prince William for her failure, insisting he is running accounts on X to attack her. As if. Only Meg is running multiple accounts on X and Instagram stalking the royal family. That is why, after royal fans exposed her for lying about cooking that green mess, she felt the need to respond that 2 waffle makers were used. Pardon me? Liar caught lying on camera says what? But no one gave the game away more than Ted Sarandos, the Netflix CEO, who felt the need to come defend her himself. He should have remained quiet. Talking to Variety, he said, when we dropped the trailer for Harry and Meghan in 2022, everything on screen was dissected in the press for days. The shoes she was wearing sold out all over the world. The Hermes blanket that was on the chair behind her sold out everywhere in the world. People are fascinated with Meghan Markle. She and Harry are overly dismissed. Mind you, we're in 2025. What are the 2025 numbers? What did she sell out? This is what you call gaslighting 101. Let's put this fallacy of an argument in perspective. Imagine you hired a woman named Maggie to cook you a fancy truffle omelette and offer to pay her $100 million to do so. Maggie shows up, talking a big game, but when it is time to cook you that truffle omelette, she fails to do so. So you ask her to cook you any other omelette. She again fails to do so. So you ask her to cook anything she likes. Still, she fails to cook. It appears, my dears, that Maggie cannot cook at all. Now the whole world is laughing at you for being the numpty who offered to pay that amount of money in the first place for a truffle omelette, and the idiot who hired someone who can't even cook. So you decide to save face by arguing that Maggie, whom you hired to cook and failed to do so, wears clothes well, and 3 years ago what she wore sold out. Therefore, critics must be underestimating her. That is exactly what Ted Sarandos did there, an argument without logic. Why didn't he simply say she produced a great show and I am proud of it? Because she did not, and he is not. Why didn't he say I will renew her contract because I am proud of the numbers she has done so far? Because she has done zilch to be proud of and he is still unsure how it will go. You know things are dire when the CEO has to come out and start giving illogical arguments instead of simply using the numbers at hand. Unfortunately for them, it is too late. People have seen the real Meghan and her reputation is toast. So when Meg says she likes to hit the ground running, the reality is that Meg just takes a big uncoordinated jump free fall and just hit the ground in a loud thud. Then instead of taking accountability for being ill-prepared, she cries victim that the ground is racist and hit her out of jealousy and misogyny. Angela,
It's brilliant,
I thought
isn't
that
it?
was such an incredible summation.
It's brilliant. I mean, I love that the last bit, she wouldn't, instead of taking accountability for being ill prepared, she cries victim that the ground is racist. And I think that's what she does. And that she's seen, people can see that now. And she won't change. I can't imagine it will change. Very clever way of analyzing her.
Angela, can we please talk about People magazine and its cover this week, which is on Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who, of course, they continue to call Kate. Now, People in recent months has been massively aligned to Harry and Meghan, so this is quite interesting that they have gone the other way. And the focus of this article is on the fact that they say Kate, that's their words, and Prince William are happy for people to see them be touchy feely, and they say the Prince and Princess of Wales appeared more in sync than ever, including sharing affectionate acts they usually refrain from displaying in public. Do you think that's true, Angela, or is this People magazine grasping at straws for an angle?
No, I think there's a big difference from when the late Queen Elizabeth was here, because she didn't like emotion, touchy, when you were actually working as a royal member of the family. And I think that wasn't going to happen at all. She didn't like anybody to feel like that, hold hands, stroke each other the back or anything like that. But actually, when she passed, I think a lot of people feel that they can be closer to each other. You see the King and Queen doing that as well. They sit, hold hands on a chair or something very nice. And I think that William just needed this. He wanted to learn what it was like being a husband, and he wanted to learn what it was like being a father. And he could do that through her warmth and her parents' feelings and helping. And I think that's lovely. The fact that they can walk with their hand behind each other's back, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I was a bit surprised when they when Catherine talked about how she felt with the cancer, and they were rolling down and kissing and all that. I thought that was quite surprising. But I think, my goodness, after she's had such a terrible time, it's perfectly all right, because if that's what they feel to do, they can do that, because they've stayed close. That's it. They've stayed close through this nightmare time, and they've done it particularly well. But I think they're still very dignified, and they give also lots and lots of cuddles to young children and people who are standing there waiting for them. Now, the Queen didn't want anybody to take a picture or put their arms around them or anything like that. She didn't approve with that. But now that's gone, and they can do these cameras and phones. There's so many phones, they borrow them and give them back, and they hug them, and they let them hug them. And I think that the warmth is there much more now. But I think it's lovely. Why not? They do a jolly good job. They do really, really care about each other. And I think it's very warming. And I think that's very helpful, that we don't feel that the royal family are very rigid anymore. Obviously, they were very wonderful when the late Queen was here, but I think they feel that they've got space to really enjoy each other at the same time, and roar with laughter. They laugh with each other enormously, and that's good too. It's healthy.
Angela Levin, our royal mastermind. Have a wonderful weekend. We will speak next week.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source, and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.